Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We just got back from watching Predator Badlands. Any sci-fi fans out there? Any fans of Aliens, Predator, Terminator movies? Yeah, this one was cool. It was Yautjas only. It was not a human movie. It was the main character was a Yautja. Pretty different than how they usually are, where it's a human main character and the Yautja is this bad guy who just shows up. So yeah, Predator Badlands, very good. Okay, so we're going to be talking guitar speaker swap today. I did a speaker swap. Let's check this out. This is the amp that we are discussing. This is a 2001 Tech 21 Trademark 120. The Trademark 120 is a 212 combo. And the speakers that came with it stock are these 8 ohm 100 watt Tech 21 labeled speakers. So what people say online is that those speakers are really relabeled. Yes, I will play. People say online those speakers are really relabeled Celestion 7080s, which are cheaper Celestion speakers, but don't swap them. This is what people say, because the 70s 80 speakers are kind of flat, and the character and EQ of this amp are tuned in to that speaker. So I just kind of took their word for it and went along with that until today, when I decided to swap speakers. What I put in here are 2 Eminence. So we've got an Eminence GB 128 and an Eminence Victoria. So this is like a Celestion greenback British thing, and this is made for Fender amps. So basically what this does is this gives you the sparkle and the highs, which let that low E string spank, and this gives you the mids. This is rolled off highs, nice mids. This is tight bottom and spank. So these two work really well together, and I had them in other cabs, and I put these in this one, and it's a big upgrade. Another thing that I read that turned out not to be true about the speakers in the Tech 21 Trademark 120 and also the 60 is that Don't try to swap them, because if you try to swap them, you'll take out what was in there and you won't be able to fit a regular guitar speaker, because whatever they used was a little bit smaller than regular 12-inch guitar speakers. That also turned out not to be true. So there may be a few different iterations of this amp, but the one I've got is made out of ply, it's not MDF. The speaker swap was no problem, and the tone improved big time. So, yeah, these Tech 21 trademark amps, they're great, and they're made sturdy. They couldn't do it today. It would cost way too much money to make amps like this. Accutronics reverb, plywood cab. So yeah, this is a lot more fun than playing like a Katana or a Catalyst. I recommend these amps. I also recommend Alien Earth and Predator Badlands. 20th Century Fox is doing justice to these franchises. So, we got anybody in the chat? Let's interact. I will share my tone experiences, but this isn't a channel where I come here, sit on my throne, and pontificate to you about here's what you should know. Okay? So I'm going to get on here live once in a while and interact with you guys and respond to you guys. I think if I make enough Tech 21 videos, that I'll probably be able to interact with Andrew Barta, the founder of Tech 21. What I found with the Character Plus pedals is that they were too bright to work with the trademark 120. But now that I swap speakers, we'll see, because now I've got a different EQ footprint on the back end of this. Maybe I'll be able to use those Character Plus pedals, but really, a Boss SD1 Super Overdrive is the type of overdrive that this thing needs. Like a Tube Screamer or an SD1. This doesn't need a specialized overdrive. Now, I will say that the Character Plus Tech 21 pedals, or the Character series, do sound good if you put them in front of their respective tube amp companions. Like if you get the Fender one, you put it in front of a Fender, it's a cool overdrive because it's really similar, like spookily similar to the regular overdrive of a Fender, or in front of a JCM 800 or a Plexi. The Marshall one will be really close EQ wise. So it's not like you're putting a standard OD pedal in front of the amp. It's like you just have more flexibility on the EQ. And if you gain it up, it doesn't sound like it's really coming from a pedal. What's up, people? Interact with me. Say something. I'm talking Tech 21, but I can talk about anything guitar. The YDNA Princeton is still in the works, but I'm not sweating it. It will work one day, but I'm not in a rush for that. All right, well, I'm going to play a little Tech 21. One thing I noticed on this, as well as a lot of other guitar amps, whether they have an expanded foot switch or not. So the effects loop, when I first got this, when the effects loop here was on, there was some hum. Okay, it's very common with effects loops. You got to spray them down with electrical contact cleaner, put the jack in and out, spray it down with some compressed air, put the jack in and out. Effects loops get cruddy and will influence the sound. Some dust in your effects loop will screw everything up. It can even just basically turn your amp off. It can be something where you turn your amp on, you have no sound at all. Just an effects loop that has some physical dirt and dust. SD1 on the clean channel. What's up? Mods, eh? Let's see. All right, add as moderator. Managing moderator. All right, we got our first mod, people. Who wants to be a mod? I do extensive background checks. All the mods. Yeah, we saw Predator Badlands a moment ago. I recommend it. And the Alien Earth series. Totally recommend them. ladies and gentlemen, I have to say that clean channel that was kind of dull and lifeless with the previous speakers, with these bad boys, that whoever knows what these are, they're 8 ohm, that says they're 8 ohm, 100 watt. These things, I'm just going to put them in the garbage because the replacement speakers, they brought this amp to life. There's a lot of misconceptions about how, yes, they did use those speakers, but the amp was tuned to those speakers, so you want to use them instead of getting an upgrade. That turned out not to be true. There's also this lies about if you do try to upgrade your speakers, the new speakers won't work because the ones they use were just a little bit smaller and the holes won't fit up. That turned out not to be true. If you got a trademark amp, upgrade your speakers. So Andy is buying tubes. He asked, when do I want to work? Oh, Andy, you want those speakers? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. They're not worth the price to pay to ship them. Nope, they aren't okay. That clean sound is okay. The clean sound with those speakers. Now let's move on to Marshall without that SD1. Yeah. With SD1. Jackie Lee's calling. Sorry, buddy, got to decline your call. I'm here to support the fans of the channel. Man, Accutronic Spring Reverb. Oh, so Andy says this amp deserves a hammer. Are you talking about this one? Or are you talking about that purple thing over there? I'm just playing, dude. I got love for both YDNA and Tech 21. I got a lot of love, man. Come on. It sounds okay, but it has a cheap sound to it. Sounds like everything you've played on your channel through your cell phone, buddy. Come on, man. This is a cell phone video. It sounds good in the room, man. And I know your stuff sounds good in the room too, but look, a couple months ago, I tried to start a chain reaction in the community of YDNA, where we would start using microphones to make videos. Well, I can't do that live. I see that you can't really do that live either. You talk about ability to do it live, but it's whatever, man. I'm just live on the cell phone, playing some guitar, talking guitar, talking tone, talking movies. You gotta watch Alien Earth series. You gotta check out that new Predator in theaters. Man, I paid $7.50 per ticket tonight, $15 total. Got a good deal watching the new Predator. Playing my Marshall? Bro, it's already 8 o'clock. I'm playing a little Tech 21. Hanging out for a second, that's all. Oh, play the Marshall? Okay, yeah, I'm on channel 2 of the Tech 21. I'm playing the Marshall. Oh, well, thank you for your approval. Man, it's a cell phone video. It is what it is, but yeah, this is a more fun amp to play than like a Katana or a Catalyst made out of MDF with all their fake fucking digital effects. This this gives you three good tones. If you do a speaker change, it gives you three good tones and an Accutronic spring reverb tank. It's cool. All right, so I'll interact with the chat. Unfortunately, yeah, right. That's the test. Is when they hit those symbols, does the amp disappear? Well, I feel like Andy is probably the only fan in the chat, but anybody else there? Or Andy, if you type in something, I will respond to you, buddy. But if we don't have something worth talking about, then I'll mosey on to some other activity and get off live. Okay, let's talk tubes. Well, okay, so speaking of which, here's what I want to do. So I've probably got 25 12AX7 type tubes. A couple of them are 12A something else than X, right? So I've got two bags that I keep all the tubes in. There's no way to keep track of this. I'm not going to put a marking system on the side of the tube, so on and so forth. What I think I should do is get a big piece of styrofoam, put a tube in, make a little box under it with a pin, and then put a note in the box. A couple inches to the side of it, put the next tube in, make a note of it. And that's when I can start tube rolling and then putting them in a certain place, not in a bag all jumbled up. And then I can figure out what I'm hearing from these different 12A tubes. Oh, Andy's asking for advice on should he go cheap? Should he try new tubes? Tubes make the difference, the biggest difference in tone. Okay. Well, for someone who designs the amps and tunes them to the tubes, they probably make a lot more difference for Andy than they do for people that use mid of the road tolerances where they just say, oh, it's a 6L6, oh, it's an EL34. Well, we put 350 volts on all these tubes and or whatever, you know. So if it's Andy, he's going to read the spec sheet and then choose the appropriate numbers to match those tubes. So for him, that is a big difference. I don't know. So okay, so you're thinking, should I go cheap? Should you go cheap on tubes for the custom 400? I don't think you have a choice there, man. You're going to be spending a lot of money. What, are you going to get JJ KT88s? As far as I'm tracking, it's like Gold Lion KT88s and is about it. Like, what are the brands that make KT88s? It's JJ. Oh, PS Vane. Okay, so your PS Vane and Gold Lion. PS Vane also has some fancy marketing on some of their tubes where they're talking about their gold this, their gold that. I guess they're trying to, have their luxury series. I don't know, man. I think Genelex Gold Lion is probably what people expect to see in something that's special, this KT88. Maybe PS Vane has a higher rating and can take more voltage, but if they're getting it from Andy Lederman and listening to so PS Vane has better reviews. Yeah, but if they're listening to the Andy Lederman show and they're getting your philosophy and your, political stance on all this stuff, on tone, on guitars, they're going to be like, well, I'm about to spend $8,000 on the custom 400, the coolest amp he's ever made, and it's got PS Vane glass in it. There's just some contradictions there that, hey, PS Vane might be the better choice, but it just hurts the narrative of what the amp is as far as selling it. Oh, Gold Lions are no longer made. What happened to Gold Lion? Okay, can you get a Svetlana KT88? But are you saying you can get a Svetlana, but doesn't have the reviews that PS Vane has? Well, yeah, marketing schemes. Well, what I would suggest, Andy, is to invest in solvents that will melt the paint off of different tubes, and also to invest in some whatever way they put the markings on these tubes, and create your own marketing schemes and rebrand a PS Vane to Gold Lion through a computer program and a laser or whatever. That's what I would recommend, because this shit with tubes is ridiculous. And as adult men with a very real need for good guitar tone, we shouldn't be dependent on labels and fashion like women are looking for status from a fucking Gucci bag, right? If there's a 80-year-old Italian man who's been making handbags his whole life, and he's selling his product for $400, and it's impeccable, and then you go a couple shops down, it's the Gucci shop, and their shit is secretly made in China, it says it's made in Italy, and they're selling it for $4,000, and you can compare the shit in your hands and your eyes, and the old man's is much better, bro. Unless there's something wrong with you as a grown man, you should be spending the $400 on the 80-year-old craftsman. right? So this whole brand search is bullshit. Okay, so here's what I would say. If PS Vane is the right choice, you got to take the bull by the horns. And you got to say, look, guys, there's something I need to talk to you about. This tube thing is bullshit, and it's a bunch of fashion labels, so on and so forth. And you need to say, look, I don't endorse China. I don't endorse Russia. I don't endorse Europe. I'm looking for what's going to work, what's the best shot at working, because a lot of these tubes that are made today are bullshit. And I'm trying to get you a product that's the best thing out there. So talk about they're rated better. Talk about, hey, this isn't some decision to cost cut. If you got to spend hundreds of dollars on something, you don't want to have to do it 2 or 3 times. You want to have to do it once. So you just got to be upfront with the potential customers about this, because it might look to be a cost cut. Yeah, no KT88 is going to be cheap, even if it is Chinese. Well, I'm going to check on my dog for just a minute. I'll be right back, guys. Hang with me. GrooveTube, Sovtech, Ruby are JJ rebranded. Sounds about right. My question, though, which I'll talk to you about offline, I still don't really get the whole thing about blocking distortion versus the clipping that you want to have. So it seems like a 12 AU7 or AT7, it's not that it's lower output, it's that it can take more current from the amp and not break up as much. It's not that it's inherently hotter, it's that the tube itself, the lower output tubes, can take more of a beating than a 12AX7. Is that right? What's up? Well, hey guys, I'm gonna keep getting on. you'll see me on live. So just keep an eye out for me. I'm going to talk shop about the Princeton with Andy offline. Try to make this shit work. Peace.